In 2008, when the first iOS apps appeared, they were very simple apps, usually on one page, and no requirement for the user to sign up or log in. Over time, people started to bolt these login and sign up forms onto their apps, and sometimes they just felt like a bit of an accessory sitting over the top of the app. Here's the TomTom navigator. You can see it's just basic colours, there's no styling, and it just doesn't really sit well with the app at all. What we really want is a sign up and login form that has the styling of the app, creates a nice flow from start to finish, and it gives the user a feeling of confidence. The app that we're looking at now is Pomodoro Ban. It's one of my own apps. As you can see, straight away there's a nice little cool animation that slides up when the app starts, and there's space there on this first screen for a paragraph of text. You could actually have a little mini tutorial there where the user can swipe to left and right to show little tips and stuff about your app. It's always useful to have a screen like this because you can put the privacy policy, which is something that Apple make you have, on there. And I also have a skeptic's guide, which just gives some last minute reassurances to the user about how we're going to use their personal data and stuff when they sign up. So if we just tap to get through there. So this is the main screen. There's actually too much on here, it's too complicated. So I'll probably remove the forgot password in an update. But I'll just go through the items one by one. The sign-up's the first one I'll have to show you. You'll notice the transition there is a little animation. And the idea of that is it makes the user feel like they're still inside the app. One of the problems that you'll have is reassuring users of the safety of their information. And if you can show them that they're still in the same app, that's a real bonus, because you know sometimes, for example with Facebook login, it starts another app, you're entering your details somewhere else. People don't like that. They don't like that feeling of going away somewhere else and coming back. If you can keep them in your app, it just gives that feeling of togetherness of your app, and users really do respond well to that. And you can see when I hit the back button and go backwards and forwards that the animation is quite smart. So something you have to consider when you do anything where the user can enter details is what happens if they enter invalid data. So if the email address isn't in the correct format or they don't enter a password. Now you will have seen apps that when the user does that, they throw up what's called an alert view, which is a box with a button on. Now I really hate those because it forces the user to tap the screen, which, you know, they know that they've entered something wrong, but they've then got to tap the screen, and worse still, they can't actually see what's underneath in that case. So what I do, if there's a problem with what they've entered, I'll show a little note from the top of the screen that they can tap away, but it dismisses automatically anyway. If the user does enter a valid email address and password, one feature that I've implemented here is it actually logs them straight into the app. It doesn't send them back and require them to log in after signing up, which is just stupid really. And you can see here, again, I've got another chance for an animation and a little confirmation that all went well. So again, a reassurance that everything's gone correctly and their credentials aren't hanging somewhere on the internet. There's an option on the app to sign out, so I'll just sign out. And you can see that the login process is almost identical to sign up in the way that it handles errors, so I won't go into too much detail about that, but you can see it works, and again it gives the confirmation that everything's gone okay before landing you straight back into the app. So I'll just sign out again. And as I said earlier, I don't really like where I put this forgotten password button. I think it needs to go in the login form, but I can still demonstrate its function anyway here. It's a really simple process. The user enters their email address. They then receive an email with instructions on how to change the password. The final option here is just let me in, which Apple actually rejected the app because I didn't let the user in without signing up, which I don't completely understand why that is the case, because this app in particular gives extra features when the user signs up. For example, being able to use the data across multiple devices and having the data actually backed up to the cloud anyway in the first place. I can't see why a user would want to use this without signing up, but Apple forced me to do it. So I just let them tap through into the app using Just Let Me In. And then once they've actually logged in, the way I've implemented this is if they start entering data into the app and later they want to sign up, when they do sign up, that data will be automatically saved to that account that they've just created, so they don't lose what they've already done. So I thought that was a pretty good workaround. So there it is. It's an example of how you can do a login and sign up without it feeling like a detached element from the actual app itself. You've got some branding in there, some animations to show the user that they're progressing through the process, and altogether just instill a feeling of confidence. In the next part, I'm going to show you how you can take ideas that you might have learned here or by looking at other apps and present them in such a way that the developer can understand and use to create the login for your app.